Now, there are set of limiting mindset that a lot of us grow up with, right? So, and over the time, I've discovered that this is actually the reason why a lot of us are not getting to where we are going to. Today, I'm going to help you understand some. We might not have enough time to be able to do long or extensive video today, but with this short period of time that I want to spend here, I would like you to listen carefully to understand the reason why a lot of people are not able to, overstep that mindset that serves oftentimes as a limiting factor for them to actually live from their current situation to going to where they want to be. I want you to understand the fact that whosoever you are, there's always a gap between where you are and where you want to be, or where you are supposed to be. Like I always tell people, I don't believe that anybody should be lagging behind in your life. If you lag behind, it's just as a result of it's just as a result of the fact that that gap that is between you and the success is still yet to be filled. Now, naturally, nobody wakes up to see that that gap is filled. Nobody wakes up to see that, okay, this is where you are and this is where you want to be. Then the gap is automatically filled for you. I don't think I've seen anybody like that. Even people like Elon Musk, people like Dangote, people like all the richest people you know in the world, the Warren Buffett, them, Bill Gates, Alibaba, and all of that, right? So because for me, one of the things I learned to do is to look through the biography, history of the successful people, how they are doing it, how they started, what was the failures, what was the success stories, and how long does it take them to be able to fill this gap? You understand? Now let me bring you closer. Please listen to me carefully. I have a message for you today, and this might actually change your mind. For a lot of people, you have suffered over the years, and this is real problem for you. Now understand the fact that for you to fill this gap, you need knowledge. The only thing that can make you complete this gap and be able to overstep it is knowledge. Do you know that this gap comes sometimes in form of like obstacle? It appears to you in form of challenges. It appears to you in form of something you can't even try. Why? Because you are not knowledgeable enough to be able to understand what to do. Do you understand now? In a lot of ways, you are possibly not doing things that will take you to where you want to go because you don't know how to do them. Now, instead of you to be asking the how, you are probably saying, I can't. You are probably saying, this is difficult. This is most often time what happens to people. Or probably you are just waiting for the God's time. I don't know whose time is this you are using right now. So if you understand this carefully, like I said, I take my time to most often time go through the difficulties that the successful people are facing. It's just my normal thing. Over the time, I've been following people like Elon Musk. I follow a lot of successful people. I follow them and I try to see how do they start their journey. Where do they start from? And how have they been doing so far? How long have they spent doing this? Now, I realized that personally myself, I was a lecturer in the past in the university. So I realized that me then and then me currently talking to you, there's a gap that I'm trying to fill that has brought me this far. So because that gap was left like that, I was looking like an ignorant. Not I was looking at like ignorant. I was actually an ignorant. But again, I understood the game that ignorance should not be an excuse. So I have to find a way around it. My challenges should not be an excuse to fill in the gap. Right? So I knew that what I needed was a knowledge. As I'm speaking to you right now, my goals are overwhelming. And one of the smallest of them that I have is to be able to build at least 1 million people that have $1 million each. we have been strategizing, having sleepless nights, studying so hard, developing curriculum for this, and we're going to come out big. I already have a team member. By the way, if you are meeting me for the first time, my name is A. Kabir, that e-commerce guy, your favorite entrepreneur and business coach. By the way, with some of my teams and masterminds, we've already raised at least 5 to 6 and still counting millionaires already in Nigeria, in Naira. I don't know where you are watching me from. And these are some of the things that is giving me confidence, and I believe that if I can do this. By the way, I don't believe in raising alone, like rising myself alone. I just told you earlier that I was working in the classroom, then became a lecturer, then became a business owner. Now I'm strategizing more of becoming owner of businesses, and then on top of that, also trying to bring others up just like myself. I want to arrive someday in a journey where I'm surrounded by billionaires. And guess what? Courtesy of me. Is that amazing, right? I'm going to be helping businesses. I'm going to be helping people. And I believe that the starting point is what I'm doing right here. You see this thing called mindset. It's just the difference between you and the successful person. The difference between you and the person that is successful right now that you are looking up to is not the fact that they don't have, it's not the fact that you don't have money. Or it's not the fact that they have money. No. The difference is because you are not able to know what they know. You are not able to use your head. You are not able to use your brain to think what they think. The information they have access to, you don't have. The knowledge they have access to, you don't have. The actions they've been taking over the time, you don't take. Definitely you are going to have a difference. Your behavior pattern, your habit on daily basis, the things you look at, the things you listen to, what you use your 5 sense organs to do, how do you even think? All of these things sum up to become you that you are today. And I'm telling you, in the next 5 to 10 years to come, you are also still going to form another pattern of human being. Now the question is, are you actually moving into a better person, or you are still living that same pattern of life that you have lived to be able to arrive at where you are today? And let me give you the worst news now. If you continue the same way that you've been working, you've been doing the same things you have, that's why for me, okay, let me finish that comment. If you continue the same pattern that you've been living over maybe say 5, 10 years, 15 years, I can guarantee you that your life can only get worse. And this is not from God. For some of us that are so religious, especially in Africa, we believe that whatsoever that happens, that's how God have designed it. And I tell people that that's a fat lie from hell. The truth is, in a lot of ways, you own your life. God has given you the willpower, God has given you the brain, God has given you the resources, the people, and a lot of things that I cannot even afford to mention on this video. Now, instead of you to think of how to harness this thing, how to leverage on them to be able to block the gap between you and the success, guess what you do? You are waiting for God to come and fill it for you. You procrastinate. You are not even taking any action. You are not even learning anything. For some of you, they say, come and read. You are now frustrated. No, me, I don't know how to read. No, I don't want to suffer. But you are actually suffering. Do you know that it's better to suffer to lift yourself than to remain without option? You know, people like us now, we are beginning to see life like, oh, it's so full of freedom. Why? Because I can now choose to do some things based on my times and condition. I should say this again. There's a lot of things that I can choose to do based on the way I want them, how I want them, and even like the freedom is increasing. Even though I can also agree with you that the more I have the freedom, the more I'm also capitalizing on the freedom to lift myself up again. Because this is one thing with successful people. Sometimes you think they are so wealthy, sometimes you think they have a lot of money, but with them, they are just poor people. Do you know why? A billionaire today or a millionaire today, a businessman, let me just say generally a business person who is having a growth mindset, naturally with them, what they do is that gap between them and their goal is always something that they need to fill. It's like a building that needs consistent, like adding up blocks, adding up tastes, adding up anything, just making sure that they maintain the building that they have in their vision. Now, if you are thinking that this person has so much money, he should come and give you, do you know what they do? They must have invested that money. They don't usually have money in their account. Successful people don't usually have much in their account in terms of raw cash. They don't usually have much. They just have what they think is enough to pay salary, what is enough to take care of some things. The cash is flowing, is going and coming, but they don't usually have much money extra that they want to give out like that or spend like that. Even if they do, it has to be based on budget. This is the life of an entrepreneur and a successful person, right? Now, if you found out that you are not living such a life, just anyhow you see money, that's how you spend. You don't know how much is supposed to come your way. You don't know how much you are supposed to spend, just as it comes. You know, this is the average life, or this is the poverty life. Now, let me finalize this video by saying that until you learn how to fill the gap between you now and you where you want to go, for a lot of people, they don't even realize where they want to go. And the guarantee way to fail in life is not to know where you are going. Obviously, just start traveling, just start working, just start doing things without necessarily having a target of this thing I'm doing, this is where it's taking me to. For me, one of the best ways that I've learned to do this is, before I start doing something, I'm going to tag, this is the action. In fact, this is what I need to learn, this is the action I need to take, and this is the result that I expect. I should say this again. This is what I need to learn. This is the actions that I need to take to be able to put that learning, that knowledge into action. This is the result that I expect. As a matter of fact, I still go ahead to be able to amplify that result to see, is this result quantified enough to be able to serve people in the society? Now, if I can answer these questions well, good to go. Then I start with step 1. Then I start learning. Because I believe that it is when you have learned enough. A lot of people are not successful and they are so knowledgeable. Example of them are lecturers in the university. They are actually the custodian of knowledge. Like, that's where the knowledge ends. Professors, PhD holders, researchers. But guess what? Most of them are the most poorest people on earth. Have you taken your time to ask the reason why? They don't get to apply the knowledge they have. They don't get to apply the knowledge they have. Most times what they do is to still teach that knowledge to another person, hoping that the person will go and apply it, even though themselves they cannot apply it. Do you understand now? So they gain knowledge, but they don't apply. Now the second part is actually the application, the action. Guess what triggers some of this video I'm making? I read a book, Think and Grow Rich, and I found out that one of the things I want is to be able to build people, like to be able to develop, or I would say to be able to, is it develop or build entrepreneurs, bring up entrepreneurs, mentor entrepreneurs, people that will start literally from zero scratch, and they will get to the level of $1 billion or much more than that, including myself. So I was talking to AI, how can I get this done? He said, okay, first I need to learn. Like I told you, I started learning, I started reading. He recommended, is it he or she, AI, recommended a book for me to read, and I'm still reading. There's so many books. Like, I've told myself again that I'm going to read 1,000 books. Right? So far, I think I've read about 10, 15 or so. But I'm still going. And guess what? After I've read like, is it about 5 or so? I'm not very specific. But after reading some number of books, do you know that I was able to write one for myself? Go and check on Amazon. You see online sales, a proven path to success in e-commerce. That's my business. And this is my first company. A co-founder of Akovi Tech Limited. And we are moving. Some of you might not believe some of these things I'm saying, but just keep watching and going to see for yourself. So when I tell people that I can build billionaires, I can do that actually. The thing is, I don't want to get old before I start coming back to give back to the society. Why not I build the team myself? And then we get there, you know, we do a lot of partnership. Everybody use their mind. You know, recently I had a group this year that I call Mastermind. It's not everybody that can be there, but I have people that are already there, and we do things like, do you understand? There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. If you are listening to me right now, what I'm telling you, if you don't want to get any knowledge from this video, get the fact that it's possible to actually get to where you want to go to. See, forget about your current situation. Forget about who you are right now. Forget about the lack of money. Forget about even the lack of knowledge. If you happen to have listened to a video like this, it's enough to tell you that have the confidence. You can actually go to where you want to go to. But there's a gap between you and where you are going. And that gap, the only thing that can fill it is knowledge. Like I said, you have the knowledge. Some of you even have the knowledge. I've just made an example for you. Sorry if you are a lecturer, don't feel embarrassed. You should understand that you are supposed to be doing better. But you are not, because you depend on salary, you depend on the federal government. Even when you have knowledge but you cannot use it, you are teaching people how to farm. You are a lecturer of agric. Let me make that as an example. You are a lecturer teaching. You have graduated several professors. You have graduated probably several PhD holders or first degree holders. But you don't have a farm. You are not applying your knowledge. You don't have a farm. You are a mechanical engineer. You cannot fix a car. But you are teaching students how to go and fix a car. That's wrong. I don't believe in that kind of knowledge. Sometimes when I talk like this, some people misunderstand me. But it's okay. If you think that's the knowledge you need, it's okay with me. Continue. Osha, I can guarantee you that you're going to be poor. Life is going to frustrate you. You are never going to have enough. Until you learn to apply what you have. Take action based on what you have. Not just teaching. Yourself, put it into practice and bring result out of it. Are we communicating? Are you tracking? Now, let me take you to the next stage. Assuming that you start implementing this knowledge, taking actions. These your actions, what is the result you get out of it? This is where a lot of people get even poorer. Because they are working hard, they are taking action every day, they keep wondering why things are not working. After putting off all their energy and time and effort, they cry. And some of them resort to praying, thinking that God is going to just come and fix it for them. Well, I believe in prayers, but probably maybe not the way you do. Each time I'm trying things and it's not working for me, the first thing I ask, or the first thing I sense to my head is, I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it right yet. Or I don't know how to do it. Because the truth is, I told you earlier when I said this video that there are people who have already gone through this route. There are people who are already successful in that thing you are doing. Have you asked them questions how they have been doing it? Or you just think you want to do it on your own? You want to reinvent the wheel, like you want to be unique? No, now. Go and sit down. Have a mentor. If it can take you 3 years of your life to be able to gather money enough to have somebody you can hold by the hand like this. And that's why I want to establish a program where I hold my mentees accountable. They also hold me accountable for not achieving their result. And I hold them accountable for not doing the tasks that will make them achieve their results. Are you tracking? Because by the time we hold each other accountable like this, I already know the proven formula, the proven principles, the proven laws that is going to give you what you want. I've taught some of my mentees recently that go and write down the amount you want to achieve, the amount you want. Obviously, I've set $1 billion as the mark. But in case you feel you want to go beyond that or you want to come below, it doesn't matter. Just list the one you want and then give me the timeline. If you give me now, my job is to be able to give you tasks that will actually make you achieve that money within that shortest period of time, depending on what the time you choose for yourself. Now, but I am very particular about knowing the fact that you need to have a knowledge process, steps that is going to help you bridge this gap if really you want to be successful. Now, bridging that gap, I've said it that you start by learning, you start by putting it into action, and then third, you start by doing what? Third, you actually start by trying to see your results. The result, is it quantified enough? Like, are you having results from your actions, or you have just been taking action? Some of you belong to this stage. You have been struggling all your life. Okay, let me give you a simple example. You want to be wealthy, you want to have freedom, you want to be successful, but all you know how to do best is taking a paycheck, being an employee. We are not saying that there's something wrong with being an employee, especially from the start. I have worked in a lot of places. I have served a lot of people. I have been so sincere to take people's job as if it's mine. And I did it deliberately. I did it very well, consciously. And anytime I'm not ready to do it again, or I feel like this is no longer for me, I honorably resign. As a matter of fact, I respect resignation what did they call it? That you need to update them some like 2 months, some 1 month, some depends on your agreement before you finally resign. Don't just come and say, I have quitted this job. If you do that, it might affect your reputation, it might affect a lot of things about you, and it will because in a lot of ways, I've had staff that work for me and they leave. I had people calling me in their new place of application that, do you know so girl, do you know so guy? Can you recommend them for us? They said they have worked in your company. You know that at a point, so there was a day I had to leave my office to make sure that I went to complete some document for a staff that have left us. I didn't want her to go. She was so good, but she want to relocate. So what am I saying in essence? Build that connection with people you work with. Make sure you serve them while you are still there. Do your best, but don't settle for less. Don't settle for less. If you do, you're going to continuously suffer and struggle and eat from hand to mouth. This is what is happening to a lot of people across the globe. And that's why you are not successful. That's why you are not having much money. You need to be able to move from, Robert Kiyosaki said there's what we call the cash flow quadrant. We have the set of people starting from the scratch, employees, and then we go to the next stage, which is self-employed, like you have moved from working for people, extending your time for money. You are now self-employed, meaning you work for yourself, even though you still extend your time for money. Then you move to the stage of being a business owner. In a lot of ways, the first two is where people, the poor people, the average people stay. Either they work for others or they do self-employed. But the truth of the matter is that in these two stages, they must always have to come out to work before they can earn. Their time is still exchanged for money. Do you understand? So if you find yourself in these two categories, forget about riches. You are only going to eat. You struggle to pay your rent. You struggle to do a lot of things. Financial freedom is never for you. But let me tell you the two that is for the rich and is wealthy. You are now into business, like you migrate from these two. You are now into business where other people's time and money is now what you are leveraging on. A lot of people that do business, when they call people like Dangote and they said it's worth so $1 billion, you think all that money is for him? No, it's not for him. Investors, they have people right now that if they know that you have sense, they can give you millions and millions of dollars or naira. Excuse me. But because they know that you don't have sense, even when you are telling them you need money to start a business, they are not going to give you. And that's why I said business starts from your brain. The gap is only your brain that can breach it. I don't know how much I should preach this mindset thing. But it's very, very important to your journey. If really you want to be successful, consider thinking about what I've been saying. So if you now switch to the stage of business owner, even though your time play a role, right? You need to attend to your business, because if you don't do, your business is going to die. But now you now have people that can represent you. You have people that can serve, even manage the business on your behalf. People that can do the work very well. But you still have to monitor them. But in this stage, whether you are available or not, your business is going to flow. Whether you dedicate your time to it or not, your business is going to flow. And guess what? Your time is no longer now an exchange for money. By the way, you are even buying more people's time and you are using more people's money to be able to project your business. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Right? And that's why I said, if you are interested in some of these I'm saying, please hook up to me. Click, just like, in fact, start by liking the video, start by sharing the video, because obviously you need to give back something for something. This is one of the successful mindset we have. Share this video. It takes nothing away from you. Subscribe, like, all of that. Follow, comment, so that we build this community together. If you believe in my vision, if you believe what I'm saying, and you really want to do this, why not? Begin to comment, begin to say things. Sometimes, even though I'm happy coming here to just say things to myself, I have few people that watch sometimes, but I'm still happy because I know it's a journey. I'm trying to bridge the gap. between me today and me where I'm going. Now, for some of you, you are not patient enough to stay on track. Even when people are not applauding for you, people are not liking your comment, your videos. People are not liking nobody hail you for what you have achieved so far. It doesn't matter. Appreciate yourself. Move, keep moving until the gap is completely filled. I keep telling you guys that some people will come to look for me someday. Like you can even have $5,000 looking for my 1 hour, but I'm gone. So what am I saying in essence? It's either you are a business owner or you are an investor. This is the only place you can be rich. This is the only place you can be wealthy. Some of us, we are already working towards this and we're already in it. And guess what? The breeze is already blowing us. Thank you for joining. I don't know whosoever you are. 2 people on the live session. Wow. For the first time, I'm having 2 people watching me live. I really want to appreciate you, but before you even do anything, can you just comment? At least tell me where you are joining us from. That would be nice. Now, finally, let me finish this video by telling you that, see, if you want to be wealthy, stop looking at me like this. I'm a billionaire in the making. Because I understood something you don't get. If you want to be wealthy, go and write down this thing. The only place for you to be wealthy is either you are a business owner or you are an investor. Business owner meaning that you no longer exchange your time for money. You no longer have to be available for money to come to you. You have set up system where it runs on its own, either system of technology or system of people, but you have it in such a way that things can run with little attention from you or even none at all. If you can establish such a business, which you can, you are just not listening and you are not ready to learn because the gap is still there and it's very wide. But you are not ready to bridge the gap. You are not ready to even learn what it takes. You are not ready to be patient. You are not ready to pay the price. No sacrifices. How on earth do you want to be successful? I don't know, sometimes. Now, finally, Warren Buffett said, I'm not talking about investors. One of the biggest investors in the world that I've seen, reading through their history, is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett uses a concept that is called compounding interest. Like you invest money, you are not taking back anything. You keep putting money, more money, you keep putting more money, and the money just keep growing. The ones that are supposed to pay you back as for profit is still taking back. You are not taking anything over some years. Do you know that as little as 5,000 can make you a billionaire? Hey, you don't believe what I'm saying? It's not your fault because the gap is still with you. You have not breached it. That's why you can't get my conversation. That's why it's not making sense to you. If I can move from taking in fact, my first salary as a teacher was 10,000. But today I can confidently tell you that on daily basis, I don't want to tell you the amount, but I moved from that 10,000 to 14 something to 23 something to being a lecturer 100 and something, and guess what I'm earning now? I don't want to tell you. But this is the game, and we understand it's a game of number, it's a game of learning, it's a game of bridging the gap. It's not just all about praying and depending on God to come and help you bridge the gap that is already bridged for you. You are praying for what you already have. That's why you are suffering, that's why you are struggling. You keep wondering if God is not answering your prayer, but it's not true. He has answered your prayer even before your birth. That's why he gave you brain, that's why he gave you eyes, he gave you nose, he gave you can smell, you can hear. Even if you can't hear, even if you can't see, you have so many other. The biggest blessing is in the brain. So if you become an investor, like I said, what did they call him? Bill Gates said, if you don't learn to make money while sleeping, always I remember these comments and it's always entering my head. If you don't learn to make money while sleeping, you will work until the end of your life. If you don't learn to make money while sleeping, ladies and gentlemen, you will continue to work until the end of your life. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So what did these people do as an investor? They learn to use their money to work for them. They have earned some money already. So what did they do? They invest it in places like real estate, the stock market. They just keep the money there. So they don't have to be sleeping actually. And the money just keep working on their behalf. Imagine somebody invested 5 million naira in real estate. After 3 years, it's now 30,000, 30 million. You know, over 35 million, 40 million. After 15 years, some of them are cashing out over, say, maybe 250 million and so. Just from maybe 10 million, 15 million. This is the investor's mindset. I don't know if you get. Thank you for watching me today. My name is A. Kabir. That your favorite entrepreneur and business coach. I'm going to be leading people doing this 1,000 days for free. Just keep watching. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.